And before we proceed to the webinar, I just want to tell you that this webinar has been organized by the Weekly Fasting Group. It's a group of individuals from all over the world. It's a WhatsApp group, and we practice abstinence from food for 24 hours every week, week after week after week, on a weekly basis, on a consistent basis. So if this idea appeals to you, and if you are not in the group yet, you will find below the video my phone number. My name is Arik, my WhatsApp number, and you have just to send me the WhatsApp message, and I will happily add you there to this group. And today we have with us amazing Noa Lakshmi, and it's her third webinar with us. And today I feel really, really special, that it's going to be really, really special because Noa is in the middle of guiding the whole group of people through the solid food vacation. And Noa, so right now it's been how long? About 2 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, we are in the second week.
Wow. And how's it going?
Halfway point.
Amazing.
It's going fantastic. Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely extraordinary and beautiful group of people. Some of the people, it's their very first time doing a solid food vacation. Some have a little bit more experience, and we also we're doing fasting as well. So some people actually had their first experience with dry fasting last week.
Wow, amazing.
24 hours, 3 days. Some people went even longer than expected. And there's a lot of breakthroughs and beautiful unfolding and beautiful connections being made. Super grateful. And the beautiful souls that are on this webinar today. Thank you for being here.
Amazing. Yeah. I look forward to hearing some of the stories from the people if they want to share, because we do have few participants now. But we will just do it later. We'll just ask them later if they are willing to share. If not, that's fine too. We'll just go with the flow. But right now, I look forward to hearing from Noa her wisdom about the subject of this webinar, about spiritual side of food cravings, of detox. I'm really, really curious about these things. Really want to know more. So Noa, please, over to you.
Okay, wonderful, Arik. So thank you so much for welcoming me here again. And thank you, everybody that is here.
Sure.
Such a pleasure and a delight to share this space with like-minded, like-hearted souls.
Right.
And the topic of today, it actually came about the last webinar that we did, Arik, about solid food vacation. And there was a question about the emotional aspects and all of that. And that's when I said, well, that's a pretty large topic to dive into. So perhaps let's just do a webinar on that particular topic.
Absolutely.
Because, and even one webinar is not is not enough, but we can do a whole week, you know. There's a lot to say. There's a lot to dive into when it comes to the emotional components of detox, and then the spiritual aspects of detox. So I first want to start by saying that it's all the same. There's no separation between the body and the mind and the spirit. This is something that I see a lot, that we see a lot in even in the spiritual circles of, oh, there's the body, there's the mind, and there's the emotions, and there's the soul. And we create this separation, or the belief in separation, that the body is here, the mind is here, the emotions are here, and everything has its own compartment. And it's in reality, or at least in my reality, that's not true. It's all one. And that's the reason why when you start detoxing on a physical level, you see it as a physical thing, but then it brings up everything else. You start feeling a lot, thoughts may arise, and there's a purification that takes place on all levels. Now, I say on all levels, but it really is just one level. It's all one. Your soul, what we refer to as the soul, is in your body, in every single cell in your body. The soul, the spirit, is of the essence of God, of all there is. And every cell in our body is made out of that substance of all there is, God, source, whatever you want to call it. Now, what we refer to as the mind is in your body, and your body is in your mind. Therefore, we always talk about the power of the mind and how much the power of the mind has, the mind has the power to influence our physical reality. So how can we separate the two? And then when we talk about emotions, well, what are emotions really? Can we say that the emotions are actually some sort of a byproduct of the mind? But the mind is in the body, and the body is in the mind. So what are emotions? Like, when you really ask yourself, not from external sources, we heard this information about emotions and that information about emotions. When you really dig into yourself and ask yourself, well, where are those emotions coming from? What is that? What is my experience of that? Find the answer for yourself. In my own experience throughout life, and now just having more awareness of that, really it's all the same. And again, going back to the process of detox, when you start removing the obstructions out of the body, because everything is one, it's all the same, you remove the obstructions ultimately of energy flow, because we are energy beings in physical form. And any ailment, discomfort, dis-ease, whatever it may be, has an energetic origin to it. There's some sort of an energetic block. The energy is not moving, is not flowing freely. That's why I say the word obstructions. There's something obstructing the flow of energy. When we start detoxing, we start releasing and removing those obstructions. But because it's all connected, it's not even about connection, it's all the same. When you, let's say, take, for example, a particular part in your body, and I'll take a particular part that pretty much every single person on the planet has some issues with to some degree, kidneys and adrenals, all right? Now let's take just the adrenals, because we have an endocrine system in the body. We have endocrine glands. The adrenals are an endocrine gland. The endocrine glands are, on a physical level, are related to what we call the chakras. That is the energetic term of those energy centers. Now, for some of you that might be new, I don't know if I believe in that. You're not going to open the body and actually see those centers, but we have the glands, and those glands are associated with those energy centers. So going back to the obstructions in the energy flow, when you have some sort of an issue with the adrenals on a physical level, therefore there's going to be a correlating emotion, you can say, or an experience on an energetic level that is associated, that is connected to that particular weakness or issue in that gland. So every single gland in the body is connected to an energy center. We have the brain, and in the brain, we've got the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. Those are connected to the crown chakra, the very top. Now, I just want to break it down for a moment. Then we have the pineal gland. Those three glands in the brain are the master glands. And the two master glands are the hypothalamus and pituitary. They control everything else. That's why the crown chakra is so important, because the crown chakra is the opening to cosmic energy, that we have the capacity and the ability to channel through our body. We are conduits. This physical body is like an antenna. It's like a conduit to connect heaven and earth. So the crown chakra is very important. And the glands that are associated, as I said, in the brain, when there's an obstruction in those glands on a physical level, there's going to be some sort of an energetic obstruction inhibiting the crown chakra from being completely open and completely functioning to receive this cosmic energy that is always available to us. We don't need to do anything special to receive it. It's always available to us. But if there's an obstruction, it's going to close off the energy to various degrees. Now, here's the importance of having your gut clean, because there's a connection between the gut and the brain. Scientists, medical science has found that, gut is the second brain. I disagree with that. It's actually your first brain in a sense, or it's just, it works together with your brain. So it's not that we have a first brain and a second brain. Again, the science likes to dissect and separate everything. It's all connected. When the gut is obstructed, your brain is going to be obstructed to some degree. So they work together. Those two brains are one. So when there's issues in the gut, there's going to be issues in the head. There's going to be some obstructions. The crown chakra is going to be somewhat inhibited. And then the third eye as well, which is actually the true eye, the eye that can see beyond this physical reality. That's the source in which we can attain and receive information that is not available through the five senses, through what we see. That's what we call it, the spiritual eye. Okay. So those are the two chakras, the upper chakras that are connected to the brain. And that's why it is so essential that we clean the gut to open up the head area. Then we move into the throat chakra, thyroid gland and parathyroid gland, but especially the thyroid. And again, after seeing eyes and clients and people, 95% of people have some sort of an issue in the thyroid gland. And energetically, the thyroid gland that is associated with the throat chakra inhibits people from speaking their truth, from expressing themselves, from allowing themselves to be heard. Now, when the thyroid gland is down, on an energetically speaking, what people experience is very low self-esteem. It can be depression as well, but very low self-esteem. With a weak thyroid, they usually a sense of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And that's why when somebody has that experience of themselves, they don't really have the power to speak up. There's suppression of the voice, and there's a suppression of one's own truth, if it's speaking it or living it. All right, there's so much to be said about the thyroid gland and the throat chakra, and how it affects someone's ability to actually live in their power. We associate the solar plexus as the power center, and yes, I'll get to that. But really is the throat, the ability to see yourself as worthy, to have a sense of I am enough, I love myself, I accept myself. Okay, so you start seeing the connections between the weakness on a physical level and how it affects the individual emotionally, energetically, and spiritually, understanding there's no separation. Because once you start detoxing, once you start strengthening, it immediately, it's going to affect a person on an energetic level, emotional level. Again, I keep referring it as different things, but it's not. It really is not. Now, I can speak from experience, and I didn't know this, but I definitely, I remember as a little one and growing up and as a teenager, very, very, very low self-esteem. And I also had cold hands and feet all the time. And now I know that cold hands and feet are related to a weak thyroid. Okay, but once I start detoxing and cleaning, again, not knowing that I was doing that, then my self-esteem started to improve, and I start loving myself more and accepting myself more. And of course, it's a progress, it's a journey, absolutely, because there's still, it's not fully free of obstructions. I'm aware of that, right? So that's the journey of detoxification, right? So from the throat, we go to the heart. And in the heart, well, we have the heart, it's not a gland, but we have the thymus. We have the thymus gland that is associated with the heart chakra. And the thymus gland is, well, I mean, there's so much to say about the thymus. It is related to growth hormones. And on an energetic level, the thymus, as we associate the thymus with the heart, is about loving oneself. Different than the thyroid of accepting and having self-worth, it's a sense of love for life. It's a sense of love for the gift that you've been given in the form of yourself. It's not just I love this or I love that. It's a deep sense of what we call unconditional love for life. And this is a very crucial piece on this journey of healing and regeneration, and something that I do go into quite deeply with clients, and something that I experienced myself. Asking yourself the question, do I really want to be here? Do I love life enough? Do I love life in the form that I've been given as Noa, as Arik, as Laura, as Kelly, as Dylan, as Sema? Do I have this love, deep-rooted love, that I want to be here? And this is a deep question. This is a deep question, my friends, on a spiritual level. When I ask that question to some people, do you really want to be here? Because, and that's not in a conscious awareness. Subconsciously, many souls have this feeling of, I actually don't want to be here. And so the healing and the regeneration is going to be somewhat hindered, because deep inside, on a subconscious level, there is this feeling of, I actually don't want to be here. Okay, understand that. And that's where the spiritual aspects of detoxification is something that is so important to talk about, because we sometimes get lost in the physical information and the material and the data, what to eat, what not to eat, to fast, to not fast. All of that is great, and I'm steeped in that, and that's what I do, and it's great. However, though, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you are a spirit in physical form, then what makes sense to me is we got to focus on the spirit side, not about what do we focus on more. we got to focus on everything at the same time, but to not give overemphasis on all the physical material data and forget about those deep spiritual questions and seeing yourself as that spirit. It's not that you have a body and then there's a spirit. The spirit, your soul, lives in your body. So going back to the thymus gland, the heart chakra, that is that deep, deep, deep love for oneself beyond the physical form. But that love, ultimately, what I call it, what I see it, it's God. And it's not a religious thing, whatever your definition of God is. Find that within yourself and know that you are that. You are that source. You are that spirit. And that's when the heart chakra is somewhat blocked or obstructed. We do find this, there's a lack of joy. There's a lack of even playfulness and the fun of life. You might take things very seriously and things feel heavy and it's difficult to open up to people. That is all heart chakra. And I'm going to go back to the gut, because when you look at not that the gut is, it's not only that the gut is connected to the head, everything in this section, in the torso, everything is compacted all together. The heart is just a few inches above your stomach. And then the lungs are there and the diaphragm. And it's all compacted all in one little section. Do you think they're not related? That if there are obstructions in the gut, which everybody has, there's going to be some blocks in the heart chakra. It's going to obstruct the heart. It's going to obstruct the thymus gland. So that's why when you start detoxing and removing obstructions, there's a lot of feelings that come up, emotions. But again, it's not a separate thing. It's stored in your cellular memory. So when there's a physical obstruction that is being removed, knowingly or not, then emotionally and spiritually, there's going to be a correlating parallel lines that are going to be participating in the process of the releasing. So that's the reason why during detox, when you put yourself, let's say if it's all for vacation or any kind of a detox protocol, you may experience a day, two, sometimes it lasts for a few days of feeling a lot of discomfort physically, but then of course, there's going to be some emotions that are going to come up at the same time. You might feel overly depressed, or you might feel kind of down or hopeless or desperate or doubtful. All those things that we classify as negative, heavier, lower density emotions. Rest assured that there's an obstruction that is being released. And so in order to heal, we got to feel. So whatever is coming up is something that is being released. We also call it purging, right? It's just like when you throw up, it's very unpleasant. You can see everything that has been inside, but once you throw up and it's done, there's such a relief. I'm sure everyone here has had that experience of throwing up for whatever reason, and how disgusting it feels right before you want to throw up. Is like, oh my God, I just want to release it. It sits there and you feel so horrible. And then during the purge, it's like, oh, there's that bitter taste in your mouth and everything that is coming out. But once it's out, right, there's this sense of lightness. There's a sense of, it's out. And it's the same thing in the process of detoxification with everything, physically and your emotions. I don't want to separate this anymore. That's when people ask me during detox, oh my God, I'm feeling like I don't want to do this anymore. And I feel kind of hopeless and desperate. I'm like, okay, this is a weakness somewhere in your body that is holding on to this energetic blueprint that you experience as a particular emotion. We run on programs. Everything is a program. So you can say that the journey of detoxification is really about reprogramming yourself. That's why it's not just getting in shape and looking good. It's really about reprogramming yourself on a cellular level, you restructuring and reforming your very DNA. Righty? So going from the heart, then we go to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the third chakra. And oh boy, there's so much to say about that, because there's a bundle of nerves in the solar plexus on a physical level that is connected to the vagus nerve, that is in the base of our brain, base of the head, and connected to the heart, connected to the lungs. It connects to pretty much everything in the body. And the solar plexus is right where the gut is. And that is the reason why it's we see in our society globally, I don't want to get too much into that, but how easy it is to control people, how easy it is to embed fear into the society, into society and control people. Why? Because the solar plexus is shut. Why? Because the gut is so obstructed that the solar plexus, which is the seat of your personal power, and it's how you are connected to your own sovereignty. And what I mean by sovereignty is that you have your own space and you are not so influenced by everything and everyone around you. That is a sign of a weak solar plexus when, number one, you follow blindly, you don't ask questions, easy to be controlled, easy to be swayed away and swept away by external forces. That's when somebody is very disconnected from their solar plexus, from their own seat of power. And there's also a deep correlation, a profound correlation between the solar plexus and the third eye. Because when it's easy, when you are controlled by something or someone, your true seeing is also influenced. You're not seeing the truth. There's a certain illusion that is being that has penetrated the system, and you follow that illusion without knowing. There's a shutdown of that true seeing, that true deep spiritual seeing. So the solar plexus also, because of its position, we go into the oh no, I'll go to that later. But that's the solar plexus. And that's why, again, going back to the gut, cleaning the gut and returning back to your power, having that sense of sovereignty, having that sense of I occupy my space. I am the king or the queen of my own domain. And so when it comes to that control, we go into this topic of parasites and funguses, but especially parasites. Because when we talk about cravings, that's when we got to go into, well, what's going on in your system, which starts from the gut, because the parasites and the fungus are literally controlling a person's consciousness. And sometimes it can be such a, you can say, a battle, in a sense of, I'm doing all these good things for myself, but I still have these cravings. Understand that it's not you. There are literally creatures in your body that are asking for particular food matters. And that's just one level. That's just one level of cravings. But because everything is connected on a physical level, you may have parasites or funguses that are asking for particular foods because they want to survive, they want to live, they want to stay in your body because you become the host. The person becomes the host. And a parasitic energy is an energy that sucks a person's energy. Literally, it's being fed by the host.
Wow.
And so when somebody is dealing with parasites and or funguses, we look at the emotional components of that and the spiritual components of that. Because as long as you are pretty infested with parasites and or funguses, something inside of you is literally controlling your own very thinking, your mind, your consciousness. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And knowing how to identify that and understand that it's actually not you. And it's easier said than done, but that's the process. That's the process of empowerment. And the more you clean out your gut and the more you clean out your body, the more you connect to your own sovereignty and have the ability to recognize, oh, this is not me. I'm not craving this. You become more of the observer. You gain more of your power, mental, your mind power, which makes it easier to start navigating those different cravings that arise during detoxification. Again, there's other components. I'll go into that, but I really wanted to mention parasites and funguses because it's a huge obstacle, you can say, or a challenge in the process of cleaning house, because understand that those are energetic creatures controlling your consciousness, and it's going to affect your mind, it's going to affect your thinking, and it's going to affect the way you feel because it's all connected. So removing those parasites through the process of fasting, through the process of solitude vacations, through the process of ingesting particular herbs is essential. It's absolutely crucial. And when people ask me, well, how long is it going to take? I don't know. That's going to be different for me, and it's going to be different for you. And going back to what I said earlier, ask yourself the very fundamental question, do I really want to be here? How come am I allowing, because on an energetic level, everything starts from the energetics. How come I have allowed something to occupy my space? Okay, those parasites didn't just show up from thin air. Beyond just the food intake that have brought on the parasites and the fermentation that have brought the funguses, ask yourself energetically, how come I have allowed this to take place in my body? And let the answers come up for you, because that's the answer of how you're going to clean that out beyond just the herbs and the foods and the fasting. In your own mind, in your own spiritual connection, energetic connection to your own body, the reason why you have allowed that to take place in your body is exactly how you are going to reverse that. Because there's a process of thinking, there's a process of beliefs that once you alter that, change the program, the internal environment in the body is just going to follow that. And the body just follows your mind, because the mind is in the body is in the mind.
That is amazing.
Now going from the solar plexus.
No, maybe
Yes.
we can allow people ask some questions, because from my experience from the previous webinars, it's good to keep the balance. Like after the speaker talks for some time, it probably, especially so much valuable information, then maybe someone has any questions. So is it okay?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool, guys. So please feel free to ask questions regarding what has been said. Do you have any questions? I wanted to ask, so first of all, it was great analogy between these vomiting, like throwing up, and emotions that come up. So something that gives you kind of food for thought. Now, when we actually look at it, so what would be the best way to deal with those emotions? Like because we all know how to deal with the vomit, you just throw up, you know. But in terms of, for example, if anger comes, if fear comes, any other emotions, heavy emotions come, would it be the right way of dealing with them to express them or to observe them as a witness, or to do what? Like, what would be the best way to deal with those emotions?
Mhm. Excellent question, Arik. And it differs from person to person and from situation to situation, because sometimes you might feel, okay, the best thing for me to do right now is sit here and observe it.
Mm-hmm.
And in a different situation would be, I actually want to express them. The foundation, though, or I can say that the guideline when it comes to what we call as emotions, is approaching that the same way you would approach a little kid. And the approach for me, the approach that I use, that I teach, is always love, is always to be gentle and compassionate and to allow things to flow. So you definitely don't want to suppress it or just pretend that it's not there.
Yeah.
But let it flow, let it flow. And just like a little child, and especially for those people that do have kids and
Yeah.
have raised kids, and they know exactly how, when a little child has a tantrum
Mm-hmm.
and they're feeling something very intense and they don't have any logical explanation, they're just feeling, because why? They're in the moment. Kids are just present to what is.
Right.
And so for us, and that's heart chakra, it's coming back to being in the present moment and allow yourself to feel whatever it may be. And intuitively in the moment, you would know, okay, what is the channel of expression? If I'm feeling angry, do I need to really scream and shout and let it out in that way? Or actually sitting in stillness and silence and just feeling the anger, and where do I feel it in my body? So in any situation when emotions come up,
Yeah.
I guide people. I say, put your hands on your heart and ask this very simple question: what do I need? What do I need right now? And you're speaking to a little child. You're speaking to the little Arik, and you say, little Arik, what do you need right now? The very simple question.
Okay.
Because one of the things that is going to bring healing more than anything else, you can drink all the juice in the world, you can fast until you are blue in your face.
Exactly.
But if there's no love for yourself, then what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that is so important, because lots of people get caught in this physical side of things, but they forget about loving themselves. Like it's
Which is the very reason why you, I, everybody on this call and everybody on this planet has incarnated in this physical form. Is for us to return to the truth of our being and to have that deep sense of love for that one, because you are the one.
Yes.
So the fasting and everything else that we do is basically just to remove the obstructions to bring us to that place.
Right.
And then when we are in that place, there's really no seeking of anything else. I mean, that's how we can be pranic. We can live with no food, with no water, not to hammer yourself into it, but to actually remove the obstruction so the energy can flow, that you can be in a state of such deep love and appreciation for the one that everything else falls away just naturally.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why that love is the remedy, love is the medicine, love is the healing component on this journey that is an absolute must. So when it comes to cravings, when it comes to the emotional discomfort and the emotional aspects of detox, it's returning back to love. How much can you love yourself? How much love can you give yourself?
Wow.
Throughout the discomfort. And that's going to bring more empowerment. That's going to bring more healing. And it's a process. I like to describe it, or to give the analogy of like you making little bank deposits. Every time you give yourself that love and care, that for some people, they've never received it.
Yeah.
That's when we go into the topic of trauma, of being neglected or being betrayed or being abandoned as a child. And the reprogramming process is removing those programs that are still operating in the background, that are based on the abandonment and the neglect and the betrayal that so many people experienced as a young child, or a very young age. So understand, where does it all live? It's cellular memory.
Mm.
So it's the process. Detoxification goes hand in hand with learning how to love yourself, how to be your own best friend, your own parent, your own lover, your own cheerleader. Not that other people around you are not wonderful and to have relationships, but it's also going to be a reflection of what is the relationship you have with yourself.
Wow.
If you were your best friend, what would you tell to yourself in those moments? If that best friend was sitting in front of you, expressing the same things that you are feeling and moving through, what would you say? And then if it was your child, what would you say to a 4-year-old right now? And that's exactly how you speak to yourself. And you start removing the programs of self-judgment and self-criticism and any sense of unworthiness and I'm not good enough. Because understand that it works both ways. As you remove the obstructions on a physical level, and it's going to affect the different glands and the energetic signature that I was speaking about. Let's take the thyroid, for example. You clean your thyroid, it's going to increase your sense of self-worth and love for yourself. But it works both ways. As I said, energetically, when you start shifting the blueprint and you actually become more empowered and I love myself, it's actually going to bring more healing to the thyroid on a physical level. So there's always a relationship.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions?
Yes, I'm interested to know, just now she was mentioning about cold feet and cold hands.
Yes.
Yeah, what about that?
What emotion she was referring to? Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes.
What about that? What is the question?
Cold feet and cold hands. What is the symptom you were mentioning about emotional things? I think I missed that.
Yes. So see, it's cold hands and cold feet on a physical level are related to a weak thyroid. It also has something to do with circulation as well. So we can look at the lungs and the breath, and again, going back to the heart. But it's definitely for most people when they have cold hands and feet, it's the thyroid gland, and the thyroid gland, when it's weak, is when a person experiences a sense of I'm not good enough, I don't love myself, those feelings.
Okay.
There's a low self-esteem that comes with it.
Okay. So it's all due to thyroid, right?
Thyroid, yeah. Thyroid on a physical level, yes, but then there's the associations with the throat chakra, and that's what I was saying about a person might feel disability or the inability to speak their truth, and there's a lot of suppression the suppression of speaking one's own voice in whichever situations.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Thanks.
You're very welcome. And I want to say also with weak thyroid, and this is, you see it a lot in women, is when people are disconnected, women, men as well, but it's especially with women, I see it a lot. Women have a hard time prioritizing themselves. They don't really take care of themselves. Everybody's needs are at the top of the list and their needs are at the very last. And that's definitely a weak thyroid. And I see it again and again when women start to strengthening their thyroid more and they start strengthening their throat chakra, then they actually start to connect to their needs more. And for some people, they have a realization of, my God, I didn't even know that for my entire life or for the last 35 years, I neglected my own needs. And there's a big awakening that comes with that. And they have the ability to actually start prioritizing themselves more and stop taking care of everybody else and neglecting themselves again and again.
Wow, very interesting. And also, would you recommend starting from the physical side of things? For example, in terms of thyroid, in terms of cold feet, cold hands, or to start with the spiritual side, like developing yourself, loving yourself more, or it's very personal, it differs from person to person?
Awesome question, Arik. Awesome question, right? It's like what comes first, the chicken and the egg. So
Exactly.
it's simultaneously. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I observe. Everybody is going to enter the room from a different entry door. So for some people, it's going to be from the physical, and for most people, it is. There's something going on in the body, and then they get into the room, and it's like, whoa, this is so much more than what I've expected. And then you start learning more about the spiritual component and the energetic component. But again, there's no separation. So you might be focusing only on the body, not even knowing about energy centers, and I don't even know what this person is talking about, but it's taking place. And it's just a matter of time until a person develops more awareness and understanding and broaden the horizon to really understand what is actually taking place.
Yeah.
But I would say, it's the body hosts everything. So you got to address the body. However, though, and this is where you get a bit tricky, and I love your question, is in order for somebody to make good choices for themselves on a physical level, like why would somebody choose to go on a solid food vacation and really clean house and then a person that has a hard time doing it or don't want to do it or whatnot? It's a matter of self-love, because you love yourself. You've reached a level of self-love to some degree that you actually making choices that support your well-being. So then we ask again, so what comes first? Because for somebody to really make choices that support the well-being, there got to be some self-love involved. All right, and that comes first. And it's not even just to start a process or to choose to do a solid food vacation, is to maintain a lifestyle. It's not just a month or 6 months, I'm going to do this and I'm done. To choose the best choices again and again and again and again and again throughout your life.
Wow.
What's the foundation of that? What's the foundation? I love myself, again, not from an egotistical, I love this, Noah. This gift is divine and it's a blessing. And I love it so much, and I love life so much that I am going to make choices that support that love and appreciation and gratitude.
Wow.
But again, it's a program, and that's what we're doing. We are reprogramming all the other stuff to have that program running as a regular thing.
Okay. Very good answer. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions, or we'll just proceed with the webinar? Revital, have any question?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's amazing that if we're so full of toxins. So what would be our potential? I mean, if we realize our potential, if we live to our full potential, I mean, it's amazing. We're so intoxicated and yet we're functioning. So, and why is that everything is so distorted? Why do we have to find the truth? Why aren't we born knowing all these things? Why do we have to learn them? Nobody tells it. I mean, we have to find it out ourselves. I mean, it's like a secret. It's like hidden. It's like we're discovering the truth. Why don't we know it in the first place? Why is it so hard? Why does it have to be? I don't know.
Vital, it's so, I love your question, and I just feel your heart in that question so much. And yes, you I see what you're saying, and I understand. And that is, you can say, the journey of life on a soul level. We, every single one of us, chose to come back and have this experience. And part of the spiritual journey, and it actually is connected to the heart chakra, is opening the heart enough to not see it as a hard journey. It may feel hard, but to come to a place in which, oh, I chose this, I'm going to enjoy the ride. So we all came here, you can say, with a level of amnesia, of forgetfulness, because that's what you're saying. How come we don't remember? Like, why did I come here not knowing this? And I'm like walking around in the woods, finding the truth. That's the game of life. It's the evolution of your soul wanting to have a certain experience in this life. Like, it's not random that you were born into the body that you were born into the parents that you were born into, the country that you were born in. Like, every single thing has been chosen by your soul way before you came in. So it's really a matter of remembering who you truly are, remembering that you chose this experience, and then accepting that and start to have fun and know that you can create whatever you want here.
Well, after,
And I want to say something else, because Revital, you're bringing up something really, really important that is part of the spiritual aspect of detoxification, and the question that you're asking of, well, what if we do live to our full potential? Yes. Well, you're absolutely right, because there are forces. So yes, we are all one. This is all one, and we live on planet Earth, which does have, or you can say, an agreement of duality. So we do experience duality on this planet. Okay. Within your consciousness, within our consciousness, there is duality. There are forces within you, within each and every one of us. You can call it the dark forces that are pulling us away, or wanting to pull us away from that full potential. And so there's a constant navigation of knowing how to remove yourself from those voices, those dark voices that are pulling you away, and be more connected to your light. That's why we keep emphasizing meditation. All those practices, including fasting, those are all practices that empower the light within us and dim the dark forces, the dark voices, so it's easier to continue climbing up the mountain to that full potential. Now, on an energetic level, just the world that we live in, there are forces that do not want humanity to reach its full potential and its light. I mean, we see it very, very clearly right now, but everything is a reflection. What we are seeing happening in the world is not happening out of a vacuum. We all created that in a collective agreement of consciousness. So that's why the individual purification that you are doing, that we are doing, is so crucial, because we have an impact on the collective consciousness. So when enough of us stay stronger in our own individual light and remove all those programs of darkness, we are going to see the global reality of humanity changing as well. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No, but things are becoming a bit faster. We all came here, we all agreed to come here at this time for a very specific reason. And so you stay in your lane, you focus on your lane, you focus on your light, and doing the meditations and being consistent with that. So it's easier and easier for you to stay rooted in your light. And staying rooted in your light is going to motivate you to continue to make choices that amplify your light rather than amplifying the darkness. And just have fun with it. And knowing it's like, oh, hear those voices again. They want me to eat the crappy food. They want me to do the whatever toxic stuff, whatever toxic behaviors or toxic
vaccination,
toxic thoughts. And you realize, yes, that too. So
they're forcing us.
Yeah.
Pressuring, and yeah, you're a part of a society. I mean, it's hard to, you're not on your own, and they're sort of pushing themselves on you. I mean, they're intervene. You just leave me alone, and they're telling you you should do that. Otherwise, there are sanctions. So it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, and that's what we came here to do. And that's why it's essential. I go back to the solar plexus, which I left off, is when people are empowered, we have the power. People have the power. We are seeing in the collective the reflection of powerless, you can say, individuals, nations, countries. Oh, the government, they're going to tell us what to do. Why is it happening? Because people have given away their power so much on an individual level, not even knowing that that's what's been happening. So now the reality is being reflected back to us. And what's the solution for that? People, get your power back. It's not the government. Nobody can tell us what to do. We came here to be free. We are free. So it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion that all these governments are doing what they're doing, seemingly forcing things upon us. But how have we allowed that reality to take place? Can just point a finger. There's nothing external. We have allowed this reality to take place. Maybe not you in particular sitting there on your own, but we all have been participating in this to some degree. That's why the individual purification is so important and impactful. It's important that you understand, because sometimes people say, oh, I feel so selfish that I'm giving myself all this time and space to purify and to fast. And you are doing the most important job in the world. There's nothing selfish, because your own purification, Revital, your own evolution of consciousness is impacting the whole. That's when you understand just how significant you are. But those external dark forces don't want you to know how significant you are. They don't want you to know that you are God embodied in Revital form. Because when you know that, then you're not going to let anybody just step on you. So just imagine a world, and we don't even need the entire world, but the majority of the world living in that knowing. There will be no governments, or the governments are going to be very different, of a different consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully a lot of people are going to wake up to
well, that's what we came here to do. So you lead by example, and you shining your light is very impactful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So can I say something? Somebody from Belgium. I have been listening to a few videos of this channel about fasting. So, and they have told that with fasting, the purification also on mental and emotional level happens automatically, so spontaneously. So I don't have to really confront myself which belief patterns are driving my behaviors, my life. With fasting, you change to another person, and your DNA, your cellular level gets cleaned out spontaneously. But you are saying now, if I understood well, the opposite. It's not enough, that fasting is not enough to get purified at DNA and cellular level, right?
Sema, thank you for bringing this up. I didn't say that it's not enough. I do agree with what you're saying, that there is an automatic process that happens in which we just need to get out of the way. That's why fasting is so powerful, because you get out of the way and you allow the process to happen. It's a very natural process. Now, it's going to differ from person to person. For some people, it's very subtle, and things do get released without any, any extreme purging or anything like that. So it really depends on the individual. It depends on the level of trauma that is stored in the body. But for some people, it is more of an intense experience. Things get really, really amplified if it's during a fast or if it's during a detox protocol. And so for that person, it might be beneficial to dig a little bit deeper and find a particular memory, or find a particular scenario, or find a particular belief. So it really differs from person to person, and it differs from time to time. I can tell you for myself, Sema, it's more of a subtle process. Things kind of just get released. But I do have times in which things do bubble up quite intensely, and then a memory will show up. Like, oh, and then I can make the connections. I can connect the dots. I have a particular belief because of something that happened when I was 5. And it just happens naturally. You don't need to force it. In meditation, things will bubble up for you. And that's why when you're fasting, you're kind of like in a meditative state. And things naturally arise. Yeah, so that's the answer to my question. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I get it. It's quite clear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. So again, in the chat, Mala is saying, Noa, you explained this to the T. Thank you, Om Shanti. To the T means perfectly.
Yeah. Thank you, Mala. Yes, I like to go into the depth of things.
Okay, guys. So do you have any more questions, or we shall proceed? Okay, so let's go on. So we were at the solar plexus, I think, right?
Yes. We finished there with the solar plexus, and we go to the second chakra, right below the navel. There's a lot of energy there, what we call the sacral chakra, the second chakra. Now that chakra is associated with the adrenals. And it's really important to talk about that, because as I said earlier, most people have some sort of weaknesses in the adrenals, and the correlating state of mind or experience with weak adrenals is fear, and fear and stress, and I mean, there's a lack of energy that comes with weak adrenal as well. But the main one that I want to focus on really with the adrenals is fear, and how crucial it is to understand that, again, when you start detoxing and you start removing obstructions, and you start dealing with those weaknesses, then the sensation or the experience of fear comes up very frequently. And it shows up differently for different people. But then you get to witness, you get to recognize, you get to see all the different fears that are locked in your body. So the experience of fear is something that I know is quite common during detox. Even fearing your own self, even fearing the process.
You took Mauricio out last night, I heard? Took him out? Take him out?
Okay, thanks, Arik. So when it comes to that, it really is essential to, again, going back to that self-love, going back to that little child. This is the best remedy when fears do arise for you during detox or even outside of detox, is to place your hands on your heart and ask yourself, well, what do I need right now? There's a fundamental, for some people, a fundamental lack of safety that is felt in this world. And I don't want to say that it's just women, like men have that as well, but it really is, I see it for many women, not feeling safe in this world, not feeling safe in one's own body. And that can be a result of, childhood experiences. And then we go back to just memories that are stored from past incarnations on a soul level, and going back and say the soul is in the body. So everything is stored in the body to some degree. And you release those memories, those cellular memories from your body. And fear is a big one. And so you put your hands on your heart and you assure yourself that you are safe. How do you do that? With love, right? Again, how would you help a little child feel safer if they're laying in bed at night and they're just absolutely convinced that there's a monster under the bed? We know that there's no monster. So as an adult, I know there's no monster. I'm fearful. If it can be a fear, are you fearing the future? You're fearing the moment, you're fearing the detox, you're fearing whatever it is. It's not true. It's not real. There's a monster under the bed. Now, you know that there's no monster, but the little kid is convinced that there's a monster under the bed. Now, that little kid is living inside of you, and it's not going to hell. You're not going to tell the little kid, there's no monster under the bed, just go to sleep. Now, again, that's abandoning the little kid. That's creating more trauma. So in that moment when you are feeling fear, acknowledging, okay, I hear that you are experiencing a monster under the bed. Tell me a little bit more about that. And whatever your process is, just again, imagine that you are speaking to a 4-year-old that is convinced that there's a monster and is so fearful. So that's how you approach yourself. And you can even put your hands on your kidneys, on your adrenals, on your back, and rub your adrenals. And then bring your hands to your second chakra, right a few inches below your navel, and rub that area. And bring more comfort, bring more relaxation to your system, because your adrenals are connected to your nervous system. And when your adrenals are weak, or your adrenals are hyper, or there's some sort of dysfunction of the adrenals, it's going to affect your nervous system. It's going to affect your electrical system. And that's going to make it very, very difficult to relax, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the system that is responsible for the relaxation effect. You are going to have an underlying level of stress without knowing it, that you might be sitting there thinking you're relaxing, but there's an aggravating stress inside of you because the nervous system is so wired and the parasympathetic system is inhibited. So it's a process of, again, reprogramming. It's a process of learning how to disconnect from the stress and connect more to the relaxation effect. So I just want to finish with the root chakra, which, again, everything is connected, especially the first and the second. The first 3 chakras are very, very much connected. And then we have the upper chakras that are connected. And then we want to have that flow. So the first chakra is what we call the root chakra, which the one that I want to focus on mainly is the survival. There's survival mode, which is connected to stress, and that so many people live in that survival mode. Right? Going back to, I'm not feeling safe here. There's always this level of survival. And it influences somebody's ability to relax. As I said, it also inhibits someone's ability to actually be open with their crown chakra, because as above, as so below. So if there's a constant aggravation, you can say, or a blockage in the root chakra, it's going to affect everything else in the body. It's going to affect the entire energy flow in the body. That's why it's essential when you are on a process of detox to relax yourself on a daily basis. Absolutely essential. Relaxation goes hand in hand with healing, with regeneration, with opening, one second, with opening your root chakra, relaxing your root chakra, and connecting to the earth. That's your connection with your root chakra. It's how you connect to the earth. Just like with the crown chakra, you connect to the cosmic energy. With your root, you connect to the earth. And when there's a disconnection from the earth, and there's always stress and survival mode, and you are out of your body, it's very hard for the body to heal and regenerate. So on a daily basis, grounding, just like walking barefoot, having those things that connect you to the earth, sitting on the earth. And there's many other practices and yoga postures that open blockages in the root chakra or help stabilize an aggravated root chakra, depending on the person. But that's absolutely essential, because if the root is blocked or aggravated, everything else is going to be affected and blocked and aggravated to some degree. And I saw a question pop when I was speaking, relaxation, if I mean meditation. That's one way, yes. But doing things that relax your nervous system, and that is different for every person, but even going for a hike, the nature is really a key here, because when we are outside in nature or doing things that are natural for the system, then it brings automatic relaxation to the entire system. So it's not just about sitting and meditating, and that is relaxation, yes, but it's also putting the body in the natural elements in which it was designed to thrive in. So you can sit in meditation, but being in a house all the time and indoors and subjected to Wi-Fi and electromagnetic fields from different devices. And no, it doesn't matter how much you meditate and doing the relaxing activities, your body is not relaxed because it's not in its natural environment. That's why the disconnection from nature is one of the contributors to so many diseases, because the body is not in its natural state, therefore is not fully relaxed. And how relaxed you feel every time you go on a hike or go to the ocean or go to the river, whatever your favorite nature spot, how come you feel so relaxed? Because the body is in its natural state, in its natural environment. Same thing with ingesting foods that were designed for the human organism. It brings more relaxation because, oh, I recognize this. This is natural for me. That's why when you start moving more in the direction of living foods and fasting and eating the fruits or drinking only liquids, for the body, it's just, oh, this is so, I know this. I can relax here because this is my natural environment. It's just like you feel more relaxed when you are in your natural environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you, when you go out and it's like, there's so much going on, but then you come, you get back home, and then it's like, oh, whew, I can relax here. It just feels good. This is my natural environment. Same thing happens to your body, and same thing happens again. It's the same. So your soul wants to feel relaxed. And how do you relax your soul? Is by listening to your own guidance system, is by giving yourself the nurturance that your being is asking for. And that's when your soul can relax more. And that's when you feel more comfortable in your body. And you feel more comfortable in life, no matter what's going on outside.
Amazing. Guys, do you have any more questions at this point? No, I forwarded one question to you of Sally.
Yes.
Something about carbohydrate cravings, or so. Would you like to address?
Yes, I'll absolutely. And Arik, we can stay. We can do it like another 20 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah, cool.
So the question was, if I can ask Noah how to cope with carbohydrate cravings and craving for hot food, especially when living with family or who aren't on the same journey as you. So let me address that part of the question. The craving of carbohydrates, that is fungus. Okay? So just going back to the physical level, that is fungus, hands down. When you crave things like pasta, bread, cheese, carbohydrates, even cooked food, that is fungus. The fungus wants to be fed, and whenever they're hungry, they're going to ask for these foods. And cooked food can also be associated with parasites, but if you crave greasy food, heavy foods, parasites, and usually people have both. So it really is an art and a process to address the fungus, to address the parasites on a physical level. But then again, going back to the emotional components and the spiritual components of how come you've allowed parasites to inhibit your body. And I see with this person's questions that she's living with family that is not on the same journey. And that is a challenge for her. So that person, I can already tell there's a weakness in the solar plexus, because when you are rooted in your own truth, in your own path, in your own power, you can live with family and they can do whatever they're doing, but that doesn't sway you away. When you have parasites, you have a weak solar plexus to some degree. There's something controlling you internally, and it's going to be reflected externally. Please remember that there's nothing outside of yourself that is just being created out of thin air, vacuum. You have nothing to do with it. When you take responsibility and know that you are a powerful creator and creatress of your own reality, you take full responsibility for everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then you realize there's no such thing as good, bad, and ugly. It's all beautiful. Life is constantly giving us feedback. What's going on inside? If I don't see it naturally, then life is going to help you see it. It's a mirror. It's just like if you have something, a piece of dirt on your forehead and you can't see it, you're just sitting there, but until you look in the mirror and like, oh wow, I have something on my forehead. Now you can try and scratch the mirror, but that's not going to remove the dirt from your forehead. You got to go to your own forehead and actually remove the dirt, and then you're going to see a different reflection. So it's the same thing goes with this person. If the family members are a challenging factor, is just knowing it's a reflection. There's something inside that is being reflected, and it's not about changing the other people or trying to bring everybody else on board with you. It's about strengthening yourself, that you live your life, you stay in your own lane, you lead by example, and it doesn't really matter what everybody around you is doing. You're not going to be a jerk about it. Okay, there's a dance, there's a delicacy, there's a balance between honoring your relationships and people around you and being kind and loving always, while staying rooted in your truth and in your lane. And the thing is when you have full faith in what you're doing and you're just living your life stoked on what you're doing, other people may not agree with you, but it's not going to be an issue. When you become more comfortable within yourself, and then people around you, your family, whatever it is that is happening, that's all good. We are coexisting here. I love you. I respect you. I honor you with your choices. And then there's a mutual respect and honoring of each other's choices. So always focus on yourself. When you start changing your consciousness, everything around you is going to change and shift, including other people, not because you are trying to change them, but because we are all one and it's all connected. And I see it all the time. And it's amazing to observe. All of a sudden, your mother is going to be interested in fasting. Maybe she won't do it, but she's not going to criticize you anymore. She's actually going to ask questions. And I'm speaking from experience, that my mom now actually asking me questions about fasting, just wanting to know. She's not going to do it, and I don't need her to do it. But she's asking questions of me rather than criticizing me or telling me that I'm crazy. She might be thinking that still, but there's more flow within the conversation, even though we may not agree on a particular lifestyle.
Wow.
Yes. So basically, that's what she's saying in her questions here, that she's the one that makes things at home like hummus, and it's very challenging as a mother and having a lot of responsibilities. I understand that. I can't say that I relate because I'm not a mother, but I understand that. But it's the same thing applies here for this particular individual, is to strengthen yourself. And as I said earlier, start putting yourself on the top of the list.
Okay, now I'd like to ask you, how about people dealing with cancer with fasting? How do you go about it for cancer patient?
I'm not quite sure how this question is related to what we're talking about.
How can fasting help with cancer patient?
I understand your question, but I don't understand how it's related to the topic that we are addressing on this particular webinar, because what you're asking right now is quite a topic when it comes to cancer and fasting, and it's not one size fits all. But it's just I don't feel it's really related to this particular webinar.
Okay, thank you so much. It's okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, so we have few comments in the chat. So Kelly says, really needed to hear all this today. You hit on so many things I'm going through now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Noa.
You're so welcome. And Kelly is participating in the Solid Food Vacation journey also.
Amazing, amazing. And then Elaine says, this is an incredible talk, so important. I do need to leave at 2 a.m. or p.m. I would have loved to share Noa. Noa is an incredible leader, and I'm so blessed to be in her group. Wow, this is so nice to hear.
Thank you, Elaine.
So much now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, I would love to hear if anyone who is participating in Noa's group would love to share their experiences. Yeah, you're welcome, guys, because it's gonna be a really, really nice experience to listen to you, to hear you. Yeah, but meanwhile, does anyone else have any more questions related to the subject of the webinar?
I'm happy to share some of my experiences of fasting in Noah's group.
Cool. Yeah. What's your name, please?
I'm Dylan.
Dylan. Dylan, where are you from?
I'm from England, but I live in Portugal.
Cool.
I've got my home here in Portugal.
Cool.
Which is where I'm embarking on this, or the majority of this 30-day solid food vacation anyway.
Yeah. So please share with us. Please go on.
For me, it has been very challenging emotionally and mentally. The physical side of it is kind of everything which I have expected it would be. Lots of tiredness, fatigue, dizziness, dry mouth, the rest of it. However, I've found that the emotions being brought up are very, very strong, kind of stronger. I knew they would be, but stronger than I thought they would be. And in particular, I've been really missing lots of things from my past, particularly not missing, but well, I guess I have missing and reminiscing and mourning in a certain sense, elements of my past and particularly my childhood as well. And yeah, it's kind of felt like, particularly in the last couple of days as well, this mourning of a past life, which I'm now no longer part of, which in a sense, I guess it is, because, you know, that was a long time ago and a lot's happened between now and then, and I'm now doing something completely different. And I found myself craving all of these comforts from, so for example, I've been listening to music that I listened to when I was a child, music that my parents would listen to. I've been thinking about particular food from when I was younger. And I've been thinking about myself a lot when I was a child and kind of witnessing this very sort of quiet, innocent, timid, shy child that I was. And I guess just through this, I mean, this is a journey which I guess I've kind of embarked on before the solid food vacation, but this has really brought these emotions to light. And it's been making me sort of think, okay, how do I give love to this child inside of me, this injured child, which I guess we all have on certain levels. And it's really been making me think about, yeah, time's gone by, really. So that's my main experience of what's been happening at the moment, and trying to process, I guess, incomplete processes that have previously happened in my lifetime. So it's been a real ride for me so far, which is great. Which is great, but it's certainly a lot to take on board. It's been questioning it, yeah. I guess in a nutshell, that's kind of what I've been experiencing. So I think I guess what I'm trying to say is that the balance between the physical effects that I am observing and the emotional effects is not quite as balanced as I thought it would. The emotional effects are a lot heavier than the physical. But you know, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm trying to heal all this stuff and myself. So yeah, I'm super thankful for the group and these webinars and listening to everybody talk and everybody else share their experiences as well. It's really lovely.
Amazing, Dylan. So thank you so much. Such a valuable sharing. Dylan, so in your case, when those heavy emotions come, what, according to what Noah said, it's very individual. Like what is the best way for you that you discover to deal with those emotions? Are you expressing them? Are you observing them? What are you doing?
I'm trying to observe them and sit with them, trying to feel what they are, trying to maybe feel where they are coming from, trying to feel why I've got them. I guess I'm trying to analyze them quite a lot more than just maybe I should be for the time being.
Okay.
But there's a lot of kind of realizing that maybe, well, actually, no, I'll stick with your question, which is how do I deal with them? And that is at the moment just observing them and allowing whatever way I want to react to happen. And most of the time that's crying, because that's kind of, I feel sadness for those emotions that I have. So I try and allow myself to express it in that physical way, if it comes along, which it is.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Such a valuable sharing. Thank you. Okay, guys. Yeah. Does anyone else want to share their experience in Noah's group? Because there are a few more people here who are participating in the group.
I also participate in this group, and the timing is just perfect because I was planning to do a solid food vacation anyway. So it's just wonderful timing, because yes, it's a journey, it's gradual. It's easy for me because I was ready, because about a year ago, I started a raw vegan lifestyle. And I also tried to do solid food vacation, but I couldn't. I mean, it's much easier because it's all my life, every time I eliminated something. And then I got to the point of raw vegan lifestyle, and now solid food vacation. So I must say it's not difficult, because I was sort of ready. I mean, also emotionally and mentally, because I think a lot of it is about being ready to digest it, both physically and also mentally. So the timing is just perfect, and I'm learning a lot of new things all the time, experiencing new things, and wonderful people on the way all the time. Ever since I also, about a year ago, I joined your group, and then you meet more and more people. So all the time you and hear about more and more things, and experience yourself more and more things. And so it's just wonderful. And especially now during these times when the whole world is somewhere else and we're somewhere else. So it's very, very important that we're together, like-minded people, like-minded hearts, that we speak the same language. We're not alone. We have one another. We understand one another. So we're inspiring one another. We're encouraging one another. So it's just wonderful to meet all these special people and to hear all these beautiful, inspiring things. So
Absolutely.
Wonderful journey for me. And I'm certainly planning to take it further than 1 month, because I feel that there's no going back. I mean, where am I going back to? I'm only going forward. So what's the difference if I eat this vegetable or fruit, or I drink it? So, if you drink it, it just gets quickly, you get filled quickly. The only problem is the technical problem, or the cleaning, all the mess. It's a lot of mess, but that's so you have to find the time. So for me, the most problematic thing is technical, is just the mess. So you just have to learn how to work with it, plan things in advance, so you're efficient with that. So thank you very much. Now, even though I'm not very active in all the chats, but I am trying to follow, because I got other things, and so, but I am keeping up also with Arik's webinars. I also go over that, and also Frederick and the Telegram chat, and the Facebook, and also other things I have in life. So it's so much, but yeah, I'm keeping up so far, and I'm up to date. And yeah, okay. And we've got another webinar tomorrow. So, and not tomorrow, in 2 days. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Revital. Thank you very much for sharing. It is so uplifting, and you are amazing. You look amazing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you've changed so much in your appearance and in what you are radiating, your kind of emanations, so it's amazing, what all this lifestyle does to people.
Yeah, that's right. It changes you. It does change you on all levels. Something
Absolutely.
Changes it. You're more calm. You're more serene. Everyone around you is so pressured, is so panicked, is so put on the mask, and they're so hysteric. Okay, so I put on them. I mean, I go without a mask, but when people are, why aren't you with a mask? Aren't you afraid? They're so. I mean, it's everybody's so panicked, and I feel so serene, not.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like you. I'm just like you right now. I'm liquidarian.
Yeah, that's
You've
amazing.
been doing.
Yeah.
Just for 2 weeks.
That's a great lifestyle.
You've been doing it for 2 years already, haven't
Yeah,
you?
for quite a while, yeah, but it's a great lifestyle to adopt. Yeah, yeah, but you're doing actually more advanced stage than me because I'm doing other liquids as well, but you're just doing juices, right? So yeah, you're just doing
But I'm
juices.
only doing it for 2 Yeah,
Yeah,
but
well,
it does change you.
absolutely.
It does change you on levels. And ever since I started the raw vegan lifestyle, I feel more serene, more calm. I used to be more anxious, just like you spoke about it's got to do with the glands and chakras. It does change you on many levels, emotional, mental. I'm a different person. I used to be anxious all the time, and it keeps there are so many toxins, because even when I was on a raw vegan lifestyle, I tried this cupping test that Dr. Filanov talked about, and Alan demonstrated that if you do the cupping and you've got marks, purple marks, that means your blood is toxic. There's acidity there. And when I was on the raw lifestyle, I still had these purple marks. And now when I did it, when I'm on just liquids, no marks. So it's amazing. There's so much toxicity in us. And we just, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it's not going to end.
Absolutely.
I hope
Absolutely.
that at a certain point, I mean, we manage to purify ourselves to reach our full potential,
Yes.
to reach our full potential. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for all the encouragement and inspiration, everyone, even though I don't respond every time, but I do follow everything, and it does inspire all the wonderful people here and the wonderful things they have to give, they share with all of us. So thank you, Arik. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you very much,
everyone.
Thank you so much. Guys, do we have anyone else who is participating in Noah's group nowadays and who would love to share their experiences?
Kelly, you don't have to say anything, but
yeah, Kelly's in the group, but it's only if you wish to share, like it's
I'm not going to say.
Don't have to. Yeah. No, and I wanted to ask you, because we are approaching the end. You told me that you are planning to have another group, to create another group in the near future, which is going to be a little bit different from this one. So I didn't get it exactly. So what's your idea about? Is it going to be the same period of time, or it's going to be less? What's your idea about your next round of solid food vacation?
Yeah, what came through the other night is actually do kind of like a Holy Trinity 3-3-3 experience, 3 days on liquids, 3 days dry fast, and 3 days on liquids.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be a different experience. Now I'm doing a 30 days, but it's going to be 10 days. I mean, it's 3-3-3, but it's going to be overall 10 days with a prep day. So 3-3-3, and it's going to be an everyday. It's basically a 10-day retreat online. So it's going to be every day, because now we are meeting the group. We are meeting once a week. So it's going to be an everyday Zoom call, plus not just a Zoom call. There's going to be a schedule, basically, of you can say 3 hours during the day, and then 3 hours in the afternoon, and of course adjusting it based on time zones and such.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a full schedule, just like if you were on a retreat.
Wow.
And that's going to be the foundation. 3 days liquids, 3 days dry fasting, 3 days back on liquids. And the question there in the chat, which liquids, it would be herbal teas and juices. That would be my recommendation. Herbal teas and juices. Those are the liquids. Amazing. So yeah, that's what I'm that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm still feeling into the timing. I would like to do it on the equinox because it's the change of the season. So that's September 22nd.
Mhm.
So we'll be starting a few days before. So the fast portion is going to fall on the equinox, and then transitioning out of that. So about a month from today, but I'm still
Wow.
feeling into the timing because I might be traveling myself. So we'll see what the divine timing is going to be. It might be a little bit later in October if I do travel.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, so please tell us when you have the exact dates and everything, the exact timing, so that, and also where to register and stuff like that, so that we can promote it in the group, so that we can announce it. Yeah, for the people who are interested, because it sounds like an amazing experience. Maybe we can even do some kind of a webinar or a mini webinar before that, just a few days before that, dedicated to different preparations that need to be done, and other things, you know, the answering different questions
Sure.
for people. Yeah, the same way we did the last time before this one. Yeah, so it's gonna be
Yeah, absolutely, in perfect flow. And Sema, I'm right now in Costa Rica, so it's mountain time, US time, if you're familiar with the US time zones. So, but I might be, well, I'll be on the East Coast in about a month. And then I'm actually might be heading to Europe. So I'll be in European time zone, finally. But we shall see. Yeah, we shall see. As of now, I'm in Costa Rica time zone, which is mountain time, US.
yeah. Okay, guys, so before we wrap it up, do you have any more questions? Does anyone else have any more questions? No. Okay, very good. No, so would you love to add anything? Would you love to give your final message for this webinar? Something like that?
Yeah, the final message, and I feel it's a really important message, especially in the times that we are living in right now, is to have fun on this journey. Really, ultimately, it's such a big key component when it comes to detox and fasting as well. Like the whole thing, it's a journey, it's a life's journey, and have fun with it, because I'm going to repeat this again. Your mind is the most powerful thing. Your body is going to follow your mind. And if you keep believing or thinking or viewing or perceiving this journey as this heavy, difficult, all the emotions and all the discomfort, and bring that belief into the game, it's definitely going to make things a bit more challenging and difficult. But if you, with your own, because you have that power in you, with your own power of just changing your perception and declare, I'm choosing to do this because I'm giving myself a gift. And so the nature, and not to say that you're not going to encounter challenges and discomforts, but it's going to feel very differently. And it's not going to have the same heaviness that you may have experienced in the past when it comes to detox and fasting. And again, I'm speaking from my own experience. See it as a fun roller coaster ride. That's all it is. You came here as a soul, as a spirit, to have fun. And it's not, oh, I'm doing detox and then I'm having fun. No, have fun while you're detoxing. And that's why it's so great to have people, right? That's why it's so great to have a group, to be connected, because when we play with other people, it's so much more fun, right? So we are actually just playing together and having more fun together, and having that inspiration and having that upliftment is so crucial and so valuable. And remember to never compare yourself. Like Arik maybe is doing 2 years on just liquids, whatever the liquids may be. Okay, that's it. That's Arik's journey. Arik is in his lane and he's doing Arik.
Yeah,
So you do you, because everybody else is taken. You do you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Laura is saying here in the chat, I would like to ask one question, Arik. Yeah, Laura, please go on. Please do.
Thank you, Eric. Noah, thank you so much for this wonderful webinar. I really learned a lot, and I'm going to remember, this when I'm fasting. I have one question I'd like to ask you. I love Costa Rica. I've been going there for about 10 years every winter, but because of COVID, I haven't gone because I don't know what to expect, and I'm not prepared to follow all the measures, like the mask wearing, the PCR tests, the vaccinations, and all that. So, can I ask you, how are you getting around it, or if you are?
Okay, well, there's no requirement of tests to enter Costa Rica, just so you know. Costa Rica is one of the only countries that are not requiring a test as of now. The countries that I'm aware of, Costa Rica, Mexico, Colombia, you can enter without a test. From the US, I guess it might be different from country to country. And no requirement for vaccination. You just need a health insurance. That's it. And it's easy to get that online. When you're in the country, there's really no issues in regards to, like, nobody's asking you to show a vaccination card or anything like that as of now. I cannot imagine it's going to go to that here in Costa Rica. I don't predict that that's going to be the case. You do need a test going back to the US. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to look for a test that is not the nasal one, but it's just the spit. I don't know much about the testing. I don't really, I'm not following any of the news when it comes to that. But some countries are easier than others. And I find also for myself, Laura, and again, everybody's different. I don't want to do the tests. Vaccine is out of the question. Of course, I'm not going to get that. But to me, if I feel guided, like, for example, if I'm guided to go to Europe for whatever reason and a test is required, I'm going to swallow it, basically, and just pray and get that energy out of me and off me and go to where I'm guided to go. I'm not going to let a test hold me back. Vaccine is a different story. But that's just where I stand with the whole thing. Until the world receives the memo and wakes up. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Costa Rica is easy. Easy. Just if you feel like coming here.
Yeah. Laura, so did it answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Cool.
Welcome.
Cool. Hopefully, Laura, you will be able to get there. Okay, and then Dylan is saying, thank you, Arik, so much gratitude to you for hosting this webinar. You're welcome. And Noah, absolutely spot on. Yeah, cool. I agree. Okay, and then Kelly.
Sorry.
Then Kelly is asking, the not eating has been easy. Never think or want solid food. It is the emotional that is so much coming up. Is there anyone I can connect with by phone call? It's so hard to express in texting. Love to you all. If you want, you can ask now. You can ask your question now. Don't need to type. You can just unmute yourself and ask.
I do want to say also, Arik and Kelly, and for everybody else, and this is also Dylan shared earlier in regards to the emotions, and it's the same thing. Remember, just keep that. This is the new program. There's no separation. The body, the mind, the emotions, it's all the same.
Yeah.
And it's the same process on a physical level when it comes to detoxification. If there's been a suppression for your entire life, for the majority of your life, and there's a backup of lymphatic stagnation, a backup of waste, when you start detoxing, the floodgates open up and things just flood. And you start seeing things on your skin and you feel weak and your hair is falling out and things just, all the toxins flow out. Same thing happens emotionally if you've been backed up. If you've been suppressing your emotions, and for a lot of people, it's not a conscious thing, but if you've been suppressing emotions, meaning that you haven't allowed yourself to really feel, you haven't fulfilled your needs because your needs are connected to your emotions. If all of that have been suppressed for 20, 30, 40 years, what do you think is going to happen when you're detoxing? Emotionally, there's going to be the floodgates open up and you feel everything. And if you're not accustomed to feeling, it's going to be very, very uncomfortable. If you're somebody that has spent the majority of your life in your head, disconnected from your body, analyzing everything, feeling is not a comfortable place to be. And so it's a matter of changing the environments, right? At first, it feels uncomfortable. But after you acclimate to the new environment, it's like, oh, okay. I get it. And that's why guidance is so important and valuable and helpful, because you've got people with you, or you've got a guide that is telling you, just chill out. Let me show you the terrain. Just like when you go to a new country and you have a tour guide. Let me show you all the cool places and what to stay away from. It's the same thing on this journey. You've got a tour guide. Let me just show you the land so you get familiar, and then you can go on your own because you're comfortable, you're safe. Okay, I know this environment. So same thing applies. Just be gentle, be compassionate, be loving, be patient, and know that you are getting accustomed to a new environment, a new land, a new landscape.
Yeah. Kelly, would you love to ask anything?
Arik, I have a question. Cicely.
Yeah, Cicely, please.
How are you? Yes. Noa, basically what I got from everything today, which I know is that it's all about choices. It's all about our personal choices, what battle we choose to go up against or not go up against. And I just want to share, because you were saying about the last thing about coming to Costa Rica and what are the requirements. If you get any information about taking the saliva test, that would be very useful. And if you could share that, because it might be a company that's throughout the United States or something. So if you do come across that, because what I just said this recently, what you said and why I'm sharing it, is that when we block ourselves saying, oh, I can't go here, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that because of this restriction, then that's what you're going to come up against. Because I blocked myself for many years of going to, certain parts of the world because I felt I needed to get something, a shot in order to be able to go there. But it turns out that I was exempted from it. So I'm not going to, because somebody mentioned, well, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. No, I don't have to, because I was exempted. So my point behind that, I like when you said that if I have to take whatever I have to take, that test to go to Europe, I'm not going to let that block me. And this is important, to not be in that mind frame of I can't do something because of this, this, and this. Because when you begin to say, I'm going to do this, and if I'm going to accept this, then those obstacles will get moved out of the way. So that's all I wanted to share. Noa, thank you.
Great to say. I love that. I love that, and I do resonate with that tremendously. Because when we shift, when we understand just how powerful you are a creator. Every single person here, your mind is the master computer. So you choose which reality you want to create. Mm-hmm. Am I happy that I need to do a test and all that crap? No. However, though, it's my attitude and my perspective that are going to determine how things will unfold.
Right. That is right. Okay, guys, so I think it's the proper timing to wrap it up, unless you have any more questions, last questions. Okay, and I just want to say that below this video, you will find the contact information for Noa, her website, and also information about her book. Like on the site, you can find the information about her book, about her personal coaching, and what other things, Noa? Like if someone goes if someone goes to your
yeah,
website.
That's what I have on my website at the moment. There's some things that are not on the website at the moment, like some of the personal retreats that I do in Costa Rica at the moment, or whichever the location that I'm in. But yeah, if there's any other inquiry, you can always email me directly.
Yeah, sure. So we can put your email as well below the video, or you would prefer people to contact you through the site? How would you prefer to do that?
You can include my email, and my email is on the site. So either way, whichever is easier.
Okay, that's really cool. Okay, guys, so we had this amazing time. I really had fun. I really enjoyed it, listening to you, Noa, listening to the guys who are participating with you, being with all of you guys. Thank you so much. It's a pure blessing, and the light is going to win. The light is going to win. We are the light.
The light is already winning.
Absolutely.
Well, not in Israel.
No,
Not in Israel. Not
The light is already winning.
Yeah,
the light is already winning.
Yeah, in Israel.
The third shot is winning here.
Yeah,
But hopefully
we'll see it in Israel very soon, I believe. Yeah.
Just remember that the light is already winning. Whatever you're seeing in front of you is catching up to what is already happening. It's the same thing happens during detox and healing. Some things take place, but then it takes a little bit of time to actually see it. Like your eyes, for example, it takes a little bit of time to see the changes in the eyes based on the cleaning of the body. So it's the same thing with the reflection that you're seeing in front of you. It's just a matter of time, because we do live in a dualistic world of time and space on this earth. So it just takes a little bit of time, but you got to keep your consciousness, you got to keep your eyes on the prize. Basically, the light has already won. Yeah. It has already happened. You are already healed. Your body is already regenerated and is perfect, in perfect health. Absolutely. And then it's a matter of time for you to just align to that reality and live it fully and completely.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes, Rovital, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Soon we will see it here as well. Yeah, and yeah, just to be. Yeah.
Rovital, just affirm that. And this is not just for you. This is for the entire population of Israel. Just affirm that the light has already won. Yeah. Just keep affirming that again and again and again. Don't get distracted by what you're seeing that is actually happening. Keep affirming the light has already won. I am the light, and the light has already won.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys, and love and light to all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Noa.
Thank you, Arik.
Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.